Joining me is the New York Post's White House correspondent, Glebova, to go through all the rest of the news this week. Deanna, thank you so much for joining me. Big news out of Capitol Hill here that the big, beautiful bill has passed. It was a massive tax and immigration bill that has the left fretting. I saw The Guardian before were worried that it will lead to, oh my God, tax cuts and mass deportations, which, by the way, is exactly what I voted for. But it wasn't an easy process, and there were a lot of holdouts on the right. Deanna, walk us through this bill and what was in it that had so many Republicans concerned.
Yeah, the passage of this bill was very on the margin, and President Trump went to Capitol Hill and he had meetings at the White House with some of these congressmen to get the bill passed, given that the Republicans just have such a slim majority right now. And the bill ultimately passed 215 to 214. So it really just gives you the scope of how much the president had to do and really had to have conversations with members of the Freedom Caucus about the bill. And some Republicans were concerned that it might raise the prices in the United States or would just cost too much money. But the Trump administration has been saying that it would not raise prices or, raise the amount of money that America is spending. And they're claiming that it would actually lower prices. Some of the things in the bill that are very important to the president include funding of the border. He has said that Congress needs to cough up money to build the border wall and to also fund the deportation programs that he's trying to do. And he's also trying to modify Medicare and the SNAP program to make able-bodied people that are able to work part-time to receive these benefits. So again, this is a major win for the Trump administration. There were some handshake deals, apparently, with these congressmen, and the president will try to work with them in the future, but he got the bill across.
He got the bill across, though, but there's still this sort of problem that he is going to have, and we saw Moody's downgrade the credit rating the other day. Some people say that might be political, who knows? But, the problem is the bill still does increase spending, and there's no sense that anybody, and this has been a problem for decades in America, is going to cut the spending that's needed to bring that deficit down before the country hits a wall. Is there a sense that the Trump administration understands that it's going to need to cut spending as well as bring in more revenue through tariffs?
Again, the Trump administration, of course, it's all political talk, but reporters have, of course, asked these questions. And White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has said that, of course, it will cut spending because of all the cuts that are in this bill, including on the Medicaid and on the SNAP programs and things like this. And they say that, of course, it will lower spending through the border program, that we will have to spend less on illegal migrants. So is it political posturing? Is it not? We will have to find out. But of course, politicians like to spend money, as we have seen throughout history.
They sure do. Hey, I want to move to Harvard now. Let's go up the East Coast here. Huge news out of the Trump administration's war with the university. The Trump administration moved Thursday to kick out thousands of foreign students enrolled at Harvard University, revoking the university's right to enroll foreign students, saying that the school has fostered anti-Semitism. But there's also a federal judge who's moving to block the revoking of the legal status of these students just hours later. And what strikes me about this is that this encapsulates Trump's two-front war. On the one hand, he's fighting institutions which he believes have been taken over by these anti-Western, anti-Semitic forces. But on the other, he's got these judges who want to protect them. Will Trump win this fight, or will the Harvard judges combination be too much for this White House?
I think that this latest move from the Trump administration was shocking because the amount of foreign students at Harvard and other top institutions are about a quarter. So this would mean a lot of students. And the federal judge blocking it, of course, halts this latest attempt. But Trump has been in this fight with Harvard for months, freezing federal funding, threatening the institution with removing its tax exemption, which is very important for the university. So this just shows that Trump is willing to do anything. And I mean, we will see, of course, the judges block it time and time again. But the president has said that Harvard specifically which is regarded as the oldest and most prestigious university here, and potentially worldwide, of course. He is taking Harvard as an example of the other top institutions and is trying to battle it out with them, showing that we want Harvard to play ball with us and not have DEI policies to protect Jewish students, and revise its policies because he wants to have it be a pillar of education in the U.S.
Hey, Dan, I want to move on now to somebody else here, Marco Rubio, who has become, I think, a real star of this administration. And I certainly didn't have him on my bingo card as doing that when he joined up as Secretary of State. But this week he clashed with Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen at a hearing. Have a look.
And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
May I respond?
You may sit.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job, based on what I know.
Well, that's just a flippant statement, Mr. Secretary.
Can I respond, Mr. Chairman?
You may.
I didn't ask.
Senator, please let the Secretary have
I'd be
the floor.
happy to, but then I can respond to his.
Your time's up, Senator, and willfully used, I might add.
And there were all sorts of other fiery clashes in that hearing with Priya Japal and all sorts of others. Tell us about how Rubio is going as Secretary of State among all of these other jobs that he's wearing, and what this congressional pushback sort of indicates.
Yeah, and that clip that we just saw was Chris Van Hollen, a Democratic senator from Maryland. And this is the same senator who made it a spectacle to travel down to El Salvador and meet with the deported man, Abrego Garcia, which the Trump administration deported for being an alleged member of the MS-13 gang. And again, Chris Van Hollen traveled down there as a United States senator to meet with this man, to speak to him, and then have a press conference at the airport when he got back. So I'm not surprised that he is really hounding Marco Rubio here. And the briefing, the Senate hearing was going pretty calmly. You know, there was questions to Rubio, there was pointed questions, but Chris Van Hollen really took it to a point to make it more aggressive and to kind of have this media backlash against Rubio. So again, am I surprised that they're going against the Trump administration and anyone who's affiliated with it? No, but there have been Democratic criticisms with Marco Rubio for the dismantling of USAID and for the deportations that have been taking place. But Rubio has been trudging on, traveling across the world and implementing Trump's policies.
Thank you so much, Deanna Glebova from the New York Post.